Didn't heart be needing. Skipping out, no, I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Ooh, you take me higher. You take me higher, baby. You take me higher. You take me higher, baby. You take me higher. You take me higher, baby. You take me higher. Yeah, you take me higher, baby.
With frost, cold night in the winter, how cold. Sorry that I fall away sometimes. Sorry that I fall away sometimes. Yeah, yeah. The end, got to end it all on the weekend. Sorry that I feel that way sometimes. Sorry that I feel that way sometimes. Oh, oh, yeah. You don't really wanna know me. Hanging in the corner with a nosebleed. High on whatever they sold me. That's the old me, yeah. 6 years later trying to find me. Still trying to figure out the line piece. Looking for the love inside me, inside me. I don't know. Don't know how I feel that way sometimes. Don't know how I feel that way sometimes. Yeah, yeah. The end. Think all we can say that on the weekend. Funny how I kinda like this life. Funny how I kinda like this life. I like this life.
I set myself on fire just to keep you warm. But in my head was so tired. But what have we become?
I got lost tonight under the stars up in the sky. Directions hard to find under the stars up in the sky. I got lost tonight under the stars up in the sky. Directions hard to find under the stars up in the sky. I don't know how to take this, I don't wanna break this. We're living in the moment, living in the moment. Your head is on my shoulder, we're never getting older. Baby, it's you and I. You and I. Yeah, we're stars in the sky. Oh, you and I. Yeah, we're stars in the sky. You say that you're leaving me, the same thing you said last night. You can't do it peacefully, you won't go without a fight. So when I go, I know you'll follow me. I don't want slamming doors, no, no. Just wait and see, you'll feel it naturally. There's no one else I see, I know you'll follow me. I don't know how to take this, I don't wanna break this. We're living in the moment, living in the moment.